We are cooking all of my cravings this week because let me tell you, I have been in such a recipe rut lately. Just kind of burnt out with cooking. I've been making the same boring things on repeat, and I'm finally starting to feel inspired to get back in the kitchen and mix things up a little bit. Let me tell you what we have on the menu. I have bookmarked 2 Indian recipes, Priya Krishna's coconut saag and Zenib Shah's Kerala style korma. Both of them I saw on the New York Times cooking YouTube channel. Honestly, I've been wanting to make them for like weeks, but I've been too lazy. Then I have been dying to eat fried buffalo cauliflower with like a really good tangy homemade vegan ranch. I meant to make that for the Super Bowl, but then I ended up making jalapeno popper dip instead. Then it's been way too long since I made my pickle soup. It has been oddly warm in Colorado this winter, so I have not been making nearly as much soup as I normally do. Then the last thing is super random. I want to make homemade Pop-Tarts because I haven't had a Pop-Tart since going vegan, since there's gelatin in the icing. And I know you can technically get the unfrosted ones. Who wants that? I think this is going to be a fun menu, you guys. So let's start cooking. Okay, so the first recipe we're going to make this week is going to be the korma. The one thing I am going to add that's not in the recipe is a block of tofu, just to boost the protein. Let it press for about like 10 to 15 minutes. For my vegetables, I have carrots, cauliflower, broccoli, and some frozen peas. So I'm going to chop all these up. So just finished prepping my aromatics, my veggies. I've got my diced tofu. The one thing the recipe calls for that I don't have is fresh diced Roma tomatoes. They just didn't look really good. They're not in season, so I'm gonna use a little bit of canned crushed tomatoes instead. I'm gonna start by drizzling in a few tablespoons of sesame oil. This is the plain untoasted kind. I have these whole mustard seeds, and I'm gonna add in 2 teaspoons. We're just going to let these heat up gradually with the oil, and when they start to sputter, we'll add in our aromatics. It's been about 5 minutes now. The onions are translucent, so we're going to add in some spices. Lots of freshly cracked black pepper, Kashmiri chili pepper, and just about a half teaspoon of turmeric. Give the spices a moment to bloom. And now we're going to go in with our tomatoes. We're also going to use a couple tablespoons of cashew butter. Go ahead and stir that through and let the cashew butter dissolve. Now we're going to add in those veggies we prepped and a can of coconut milk. And it's very chilly in the kitchen, so this one is solidified. Give the coconut a chance to melt. So we're going to bring this up to a boil and let the vegetables cook for about 8 to 10 minutes till they're tender. It's finally time to try our korma. It smells incredible, looks super cozy, and honestly, it was pretty easy to make. And it could be even easier if you wanted to use like frozen vegetables. I added a lot of cilantro and we just made some basmati rice. I want to get some cauliflower. Cauliflower is like my favorite vegetable. Some of that gravy. This is really hitting the spot. I'm already excited to eat leftovers tomorrow. We're gonna get Eric's verdict. You like?
Oh, it's really good. It's really creamy. Lots of good textures. Lots of flavor. It's delicious. I really like korma because I really like a variety of things. So I like that there's so many different veggies in it.
Okay, real talk, I used to spend way too much time driving to different grocery stores just to get everything I needed. Between cooking for work and cooking for life, it was even more overwhelming. I felt like I was spending so much time at the grocery store every week. That is where Thrive Market has been a total game changer. They're an online membership-based grocery store where I stock up on all my healthy pantry staples and everyday essentials, and they just ship it straight to my door. Since I've been using them for so long, it's become clear just how much cheaper most products are on Thrive Market. Plus, there's free shipping on orders over $49 $29, which honestly is not hard to hit when you're restocking your pantry and your snacks. This is my latest order. I picked up some of my usual staples that I order pretty much every single time. Things like coconut milk and some of my favorite noodles. The millet and brown rice noodles that I love. And damyeon, these are the sweet potato glass noodles I use to make japchae. And I also picked up some fun stuff like this giant bag of Unreals. These are chocolate covered peanuts. They're so good. And some vegan mac and cheese. These are for Eric.
They are.
Yes. A Thrive Market membership is $60 a year, and for me, it genuinely pays for itself in savings within just a few orders. And on top of that, for every paid membership, Thrive Market donates a membership to a family in need. And we've actually had multiple viewers comment saying that they received free memberships from Thrive Market when they needed it, and how great it was for their family, which is amazing. So if you'd like to try it out, you can visit thrivemarket.com/Sarah's Vegan Kitchen. You can get 30% off your first order plus a free gift. I'll have all that information in the description box as well. And now let's get back to cooking our cravings. Okay, welcome back to day 2 of cooking all my cravings, and today we are making fried cauliflower. I was wondering earlier whether I was gonna do just a classic buffalo cauliflower, but I've been seeing hot honey chicken everywhere and it looks so good, so I think I'm actually gonna try to throw together like a hot maple buffalo sauce, something sweet, sticky, and spicy. You've got to have a really good homemade vegan ranch for dipping, and I actually made one earlier today. And since we're pulling out all the stops for this video, I actually started by making a homemade vegan mayo as the base of that. And of course, you can use something store-bought like Vegenaise, but it's actually surprisingly easy to make your own mayo. It just takes a few ingredients. You're going to need your favorite neutral oil. I used avocado oil. For every cup oil, I do a 1/4 cup of plain unsweetened soy milk and a 1/4 cup of silken tofu. Add a little bit of lemon juice and a little bit of vinegar, and then a couple teaspoons of Dijon mustard, because that's what has the emulsifiers in it that keep your mayo nice and stable. I think it's easiest just to use an immersion blender to make mayo. It literally comes together within a matter of seconds. Personally, for ranch dressing, I like an equal parts vegan mayo and then either sour cream or unsweetened plain vegan yogurt, because that contributes that kind of lactic acid flavor you'd get from buttermilk. The signature ranch flavor comes from a bunch of different dried herbs, so I have dried dill, parsley, and chives. Salt, pepper to preference. I also like to add a little bit of nutritional yeast. It's optional, but it just kind of boosts the savory factor. And then the lemon juice is something that you can play around with the ratios to get it as tart as you like. I like quite a tart and salty ranch dressing. Then ideally you want this to marinate for like at least 30 minutes. The longer the better. So now let's go ahead and get into making our fried cauliflower. Let's do a little crunch test, shall we? This one looks good. And immediately the puppy comes running. You just needed to hear one crunch, and now you're here to beg? Are you thinking you're gonna get something? You're really cute, but... I have the oven set to 200, so I'm just gonna pop this entire tray in there to keep the cauliflower hot and crispy while we make our hot maple sauce. These look so good. They smell incredible. I'm so excited. Let's see. We're gonna do without ranch first. How could this not be incredible, right? Let's try it with the ranch now. Like I said yesterday, you guys, cauliflower is probably my favorite vegetable. I love fried cauliflower. Anytime it's on the menu and it's vegan friendly, I will order it. Now the only problem is it's like 7 o'clock now. This is not a proper dinner, so I'm gonna have to scrounge up a few other things to make this a real meal. Anyway, I'll catch you tomorrow. Welcome back to day 3. It is so cold right now. We have snow in the forecast, so it's gonna be the perfect night to make a big pot of soup. We're gonna make our pickle soup. This is based on a Polish soup called zupa ogórkowa. If you wanna make this soup, I always recommend, if you can, try to get your hands on some good lacto-fermented pickles. It's gonna give you a way better flavor than if you just use like Vlasic vinegar brine pickles. I really like Bubby's pickles. Also, if you can get your hands on the Batompt brand garlic dill pickles, those are so good. They're really hard to find in Colorado, but every time we visit Eric's family in New York, I buy a jar because they're addictive. Otherwise, it's a pretty simple soup to throw together. We've got our mirepoix, Yukon Gold potatoes. We're gonna shred and fry up our pickles in some vegan butter separately before adding them into the soup, along with some of the brine. I'm really excited to eat this tonight. Hi, I did not taste the soup last night. Why, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you. So I finished cooking the soup, turn it down to low, put a lid on it, because we're not quite ready to eat dinner just yet. In the meantime, we put on Eternity, new movie, Elizabeth Olsen, Miles Teller, devastating premise. Mind you, I'm in the thick of my luteal phase. I end up sobbing through half this film, cry off all my makeup, eyes are swollen, knees weak, palms sweaty, mom spaghetti. I can't breathe through my nose. I said, I can't go back on camera tonight. We're here the following day. Gonna taste test some pickle soup together so we can all have some closure about the situation. I'm gonna go reheat some of that soup. Okay, turned on more lights in the kitchen. It was looking a little gloomy. Also, I'm so sorry if you can hear my dog. She has this medical condition where she actually has to start chewing something loudly every time I turn the camera on. Here's our pickle soup. I've made this a couple times on the channel, so it's nothing new, but this really is one of my all-time favorites. It's so good. Savory, tangy, and I always joke that this is like basically a salad because it literally is all vegetables. I love soup so much that oftentimes after dinner, I will just stand over the pot and just keep eating spoonfuls of it. And it's especially bad with this soup because there's just something so addictive about how savory it is and then like the tartness from the pickles. I cannot stop. It's so good. I am ready though to pivot to some sweets tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Today, we are making Pop-Tarts. I got a head start yesterday and made the pastry dough, flour, salt, a little bit of sugar, really cold vegan butter to that, and I cut it up into pea-sized bits using a pastry cutter. I add in ice cold water. The dough starts out very crumbly. I turn it out onto my work surface, kind of press it together, and then with pie crust, I personally like to laminate mine. And in the process of performing those folds, the dough goes from being very crumbly to more cohesive, and you're also creating those flaky layers. I split the dough into 2 halves, wrap them up really tightly. Those have just been chilling since yesterday so that the flour has a chance to hydrate, the gluten has a chance to relax, and we're gonna roll them out now. I was feeling very indecisive over whether I wanted berry Pop-Tarts or brown sugar cinnamon, so we're gonna make half and half. Yesterday I pre-shaped my dough into rectangles so that it just makes it easier to roll them out in that shape today. Be as liberal as you need to with the flour to keep it from sticking because you can always dust off the excess later. And we're aiming for about 1/8 of an inch thickness and right about 9 inches by 12 inches. I really like black coffee time with sweet pastries. For a first attempt, I'm pretty happy with how these came out. I am happy with how flaky the crust is. Although I will say, if I attempt to make these again, I'll probably try to make my homemade jam for the berry ones, just so I can be in control of the sweetness, because with the sugar in the jam and the icing, it was a little too sweet. I was really wanting it to be a bit more tart and fruity. Strawberry. Crumbly. I love a midday decaf.
Okay, so I don't really like pie crust, but I said this to Sarah last night when we tried these, that this is like the only time I've ever liked pie crust. We're going berry first. I can see why you want to control the sweetness a little bit more because they're a little too sweet. Still delicious. Let me try some brown sugar cinnamon. I know Sarah made these for me because this was my preferred Pop-Tart flavor. The filling actually in the brown sugar one specifically really is very reminiscent of a real Pop-Tart. I never liked Pop-Tarts that much because the dough was just always gross and like cardboardy to me. And then Sarah made me realize that it's because I never heat them up when I was a kid. I would always eat them out of the package. She's like, that's why you didn't like them.
You gotta toast it. That's the pop in the Pop-Tart, right? Because they pop out of the toaster.
Really? I did not know that.
I hope I didn't just make that up.
Well, we're leaving this in regardless. You can tell us in the comments. I'll give you an A.
I would give myself a C+.
A C+?
Yeah.
She went to Stanford. She's way too hard on herself. I think they're delicious. Bye.
So we got one more recipe to make today, but I do have a toxic trait, and it's that the longer a project takes for me to finish, the more my brain wants to disengage from it. Gotta really push myself to just knock the recipe out today. But I'll see you in a little bit and we'll make our coconut saag together. All right, I've gone ahead and prepped everything I'll need to make the coconut saag tonight. Prep wasn't too bad. Got our aromatics, super firm tofu, our greens, coconut milk, and all our beautiful spices. And this is actually the first time I'm ever gonna cook with asafoetida, so I'm really excited to try it. Heating up a few tablespoons of this virgin sesame oil in my pot. We're adding in coriander seeds, quite a bit, 2 whole tablespoons, as well as 3 green cardamom pods. We're going to toast these for a few minutes. Our cardamom seeds are starting to pick up some color, and I'm going to add in our onion now. It's been about 5 minutes. The onion is translucent, and now I'm going to add in my minced ginger and garlic. And these we're just going to saute for about a minute. Wow, what an incredible smell. A few people left comments on Priya's video to say they had made this recipe and the whole coriander seeds weren't fully blended in the finished saag. Just to safeguard against that, I'm giving this mixture a quick blend until it's perfectly smooth, just so that I don't have to over process my greens later on. All right, now I'm going to add my greens and let them wilt. So by the time I finished cooking yesterday, I was ravenous, so I just started eating. I did not film my taste test, but we do have leftovers here to try together, and I'll just go ahead and say that I thought this was incredible. I also have my own tofu saag recipe on my website, which I developed over the course of a couple years because when I went vegan, I really missed ordering palak paneer. That used to be one of my favorite Indian dishes to order, so I wanted to be able to make my own at home using tofu. This one is quite different from my recipe, which just goes to show there's always more to learn. Mine came out a bit saucier than hers. I actually prefer that because I really like having extra sauce for my rice and for dipping. Let's give it a try. It's so flavorful, it's very fresh. You can really taste the whole coriander seeds coming through. I've never cooked with whole coriander seeds. I've always used ground, but I definitely want to experiment with using more whole spices now and toasting my own. This also really was not too difficult to prepare, came together fairly quickly, and I would highly recommend trying this if you are a lover of Indian food. That's gonna bring us to the end of this week of cooking all of my cravings. It's been super fun. I definitely wanna do more videos like this in the future. And if I had to pick a highlight of this video, I think it would be tied between the coconut saag and the fried cauliflower. Both of those, I think I could eat every single day. But we're gonna get Eric's opinion as someone who also ate all of the things I cooked. What were your favorites?
Hi. I liked everything a lot. I think my favorite was the cauliflower. I'm a sucker for fried cauliflower tossed in a sauce.
He also loves spicy food.
Yes. I really did like everything, though. I mean, I've been eating leftovers of the korma, about to eat leftovers of this. I'm very excited. So yeah, everything was a hit for me. Good job, honey.
Yay! Thank you guys for joining us as Eric retreats into the background. Thanks again to Thrive Market for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget, you can check out the link in my description box or visit thrivemarket.com/Sarah's Vegan Kitchen to get 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Incredible. And I'll see you very soon in my next video.